Hello, everybody. Hello, golf sickos. Welcome to a little Wednesday stream. I like doing these middle of the week. You know, the news cycle never sleeps, so I like to check in every Wednesday when I can and bring you up on some of the news and also rewatch something from the past. And you guys had a great idea. You said, why don't we, instead of just rewatching? Oh man, I did that again. A tradition unlike any other, forgetting to turn off the YouTube. You guys have said, you know, instead of just doing like a random tournament, why don't we rewatch a good finish from the tournament that is this week? So obviously the FedEx Cup playoffs start tomorrow at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. I am not there because I have a strict no Memphis in August policy. Now, I've said in the past that I have a strict no Memphis policy. It's actually a no Memphis in August policy. I got nothing against the city of Memphis, but in August, I'm just not going to go. But I will be in Baltimore for the BMW, and I will be in Atlanta for the Tour Championship and for the Creator Classic. But yeah, we've got FedEx St. Jude, we've got TPC Southwind, so we are going to rewatch in a little while, starting in about, after I kind of run you through the headlines, run you through the news. We're going to rewatch the Will Zalatoris Sepp Straka battle from 2022. This is before Will Zalatoris had to change his golf swing with his back. It was his first time playing in the FedEx playoffs because 2021 is really when he made all of those runs in the major championships and really, started to elevate himself as to one of the best players in the world. Remember, Will's rise was out of nowhere. He got into the U.S. Open in 2020 in the fall at Wingfoot because, this is a cool shirt. Thank you, Hellacious Bombs. This is Students Golf. Cool brand that they sent me some stuff, so I'm really stoked to be wearing it on the stream today. But so Zalatoris got into the U.S. Open in 2020 at Wingfoot, not because he qualified. They couldn't do qualifying because it was the COVID year, but he was the top player on the Corn Ferry Tour, so he got a spot. He finished 6th, and everything just went crazy after that. So we're going to watch Zalatoris and Sepp Straka. You guys talked about how you wanted, before it was like a 3-hour video. We basically just cut the whole back 9 and watched through it, and I had to fast forward. And you said we're going to create a lot more work for Alex Bush because we want him to actually cut so it's like a really quick moving. So we've cut it. It's only 40 minutes, the whole back 9 plus the playoffs. So we're going to watch that. But first, a few things. The caddy carousel, Looper Island, has been absolutely out of control this week, and it just keeps on spinning. Now, we did a little segment probably a month ago going through all of the ties that bind between Justin Thomas and Michael Thorbjornsen and Tiger Woods and Max Homa and Colin Morikawa, and they were all just kind of trading caddies, and it's still going. So Colin Morikawa this week has Mark Urbanic on the back. Mark Urbanic was Tony Finau's caddy for the last couple of years before Tony Finau made a change. Tony Finau had a different guy on for the Scottish and the Open Championship. He's also got a new caddy this week, and it's a very famous caddy, but we will start with Colin Morikawa. Colin's had 5 caddies so far this year. So he started the year with J.J. Jakovac, who was his caddy when he won his major championships, when he won all of his golf tournaments. Then he switched to Joe Greiner. Max Homa and Colin Morikawa share the same agent. Max, they're both Cal boys, University of California at Berkeley. They're very close. Obviously, Max and Joe split up. That was very public. That actually kind of kicked off all of this Looper Island stuff. And then Max works with Joe Greiner for a couple weeks, but only a couple weeks. It doesn't work out. Then he moves to one of his buddies, Kurt Kitayama. Or not Kurt. Where did that come from? Kurt Kitayama is one of his buddies. KK Limbasuit. It's because Kurt Kitayama is KK and KK. So he's KK Limbasuit is one of his friends from junior golf. He worked for him for just about a week. They had a top 10 finish. Then it was Billy Foster, the very famous caddy who worked in the past for Matt Fitzpatrick, most recently full-time. He's worked for Seve Ballesteros and Lee Westwood and Darren Clark and all these guys in the past. That was only a 2-event deal. That was the Scottish Open and the Open Championship. And now he's got Mark Urbanic on the bag. So Colin has said, I'm gonna do this until I find the right one. And it's another caddy on the bag for Colin Morikawa this week. It'll be Mark Urbanic. So Mark Urbanic used to be on Tony Finau's bag. So what is Tony Finau doing now for a caddy? Tony Finau has hired Tim Tucker to be his caddy. Now, that is a name that people will recognize because he was Bryson DeChambeau's caddy when Bryson won his first U.S. Open, when Bryson got really beefy, when Bryson was having all those beefs with the media. Tim Tucker was by his side. Tim Tucker recently was working for Kurt Kitayama. Tim Tucker broke up with Kurt Kitayama. We talked about that on the show. We had Kurt on the show, and he said, it wasn't me who split with Tim. Tim called me and said, I have another opportunity. So Tim Tucker went to work for Bryson A couple weeks ago at the Live UK event, I said Live London in the past. I got clowned for that because it's north of the Midlands, and I think of myself as a bit of a a UK geography knower. So that was a bad slip on my end. But that was just a 1 week deal because Bryson DeChambeau's full-time caddy, which is Greg Bodine, who also used to work for Tony Finau, had a prior arrangement. I think it was a family deal. So Gbo, as Bryson calls him, and Bryson are back together, and Tim Tucker now is working full-time for Tony Finau. Now, that is not the only, those two are not the only changes this week. There's even more. Jake Knapp has hired Joe Griner to be his caddy moving forward, and I asked Jake, is this a full-time thing? And he said, yes, it is. And I said, was it just time for a change? And he said, yeah, just feel like I have a lot to learn overall, and I've known him since I was in college, so it's the perfect fit. Now, Knapp, when he said I have a lot to learn, I kept finding myself thinking about two situations this year. The first one at Cognizant, when Jake Knapp tried to hit that ball out of the water when he was trying to win the tournament, and he left it in the water a couple times. And then a couple weeks ago at the 3M, Jake was very much in the mix going to 18 and decides to try to hit one really close, tries to kind of muscle. I think it was an 8-iron instead of a 7-iron. He hits it in the water. And those are two sort of high leverage moments where Jake went for broke. And I'm wondering if he's reflecting on that and thinking, maybe that wasn't the best choice. I've had this sort of mentality of you got to win all the time. You got to go for the wins, but it's actually come back to bite him a little bit. Those strokes, and we see this every year in the FedEx Cup playoffs. 1 or 2 strokes is going to be the difference. And Jake Knapp enters this week, I think, in the 50s. So it's going to be close unless he has a great week. And maybe he's thinking in the past, did I maybe make a mistake by going for broke too much? Do I need someone to sort of temper my expectations? Aussie golfer asks, what's going on with Morikawa? Another caddy change. Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the stream. It's the 5th caddy he's used this year. And, I think Colin is definitely a very particular, very demanding boss and a very demanding individual, but he takes his job really seriously. And I don't think he really gives a shit what the public perception is. Oh, you're going through caddies. He's trying to find the guy. You got to think about, then Colin said this, we had him on the show when he first split with JJ and hired Joe Griner for a second there. He said, I spend more time with this guy than I spend with my wife. Like, this is very, very important for my career, and ATP says at this point, Colin is just taking people on 2-week trials, so I feel like it's likely he does a couple more changes before settling. Yeah, and what's interesting also about these caddy changes, right, is Joel Damon also, right, switches, parts with Gino Bonelli, which was, they're a Netflix darling. A couple weeks ago, was it last week? Maybe 2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago because last week was a total snooze with Cameron Young. But the week before that, Kurt Kitayama won with his brother on the bag. Kurt Kitayama won with a new caddy on the bag the first week, and Joaquin Niemann split with his caddy after the Open Championship, and he won Live Golf UK. So there's all these caddy switches, but there's also this sort of like lingering question of like, how much does it really matter? Because we keep seeing guys. I mean, Joel had a good week with his coach on the bag. I think the yardage books do so much of the work now. Back when Billy Foster, for an example, first started caddy, you had to make your own yardage books, right? And so the information that you had was proprietary information. And if a guy was really good at getting the numbers and the carry numbers and he had this incredible map, like you wanted that information because it was his. Now you look at these yardage books. I've caddied in a PGA Tour event before. I caddied for Matt Fitzpatrick in the 2020 Pebble Beach Pro-Am. People forget T59 finish, just 1-for-1 and cuts made as a PGA Tour caddy. But there's a little bit of a learning curve, but there's so much information in the books that I think it's more just about like, do you like the person that's next to you? Are you comfortable with the guy that's next to you? Because again, it's not as difficult to be a PGA Tour caddy as it was because of these yardage books. So we have all of this caddy movement, but then there's the lingering question of like, how much does it actually matter? So I'm excited for this week. We've got 69 of the top 70 players in the world over in Memphis. And obviously the one who is not in Memphis is Rory McIlroy. And Peter Malnati, who is on the PGA Tour policy board, said, we're concerned about this. We're looking into stuff. I said this on the show on Monday, and I'll say it again. I completely understand from Rory McIlroy's perspective why he doesn't want to play this week. He's not going to drop any spots. With the new FedEx Cup format and the Tour Championship format, all you got to do is get to Eastlake, and then it completely wipes clean. And if he knows he's going to make it, the money that he is sacrificing or the couple spots he's going to drop, because there's another payout after the BMW championship for the standings after the BMW championship, which I suspect Scottie Scheffler will win. I think it's another $5 million. So Scotty's gonna be very well compensated for his fantastic play. It's just not worth it to Rory, and I think we've seen Rory in the last couple of weeks. We saw that video of him on the yacht. We saw him looking very comfortable going back to the UK and proper celebrating. And I think for him, it's like, I could go to Memphis, where we should also mention he played terrible last year. And it's 90 degrees and humid the whole week. Or I could have another week of rest and go into BMW and the Tour Championship super fresh. Rory doesn't need the money. Rory knows he's going to make Eastlake. Rory, we wanted to sort of shake him after we won the Masters and said, "You've done it all, man. Just be happy." And I think this is a decision that he definitely wouldn't have made if he didn't win the Masters, right? Like, if he doesn't win the Masters, winning another FedEx Cup, getting to 4 FedEx Cups is probably a more enticing proposition than it is after he's won the Masters. So Rory's had an incredible year, and I think for him, this makes sense. Obviously, FedEx is not going to like it. Obviously, the PGA Tour is not going to like it. But I think that Rory is not as concerned with sort of putting the shield on his back, or not the shield, whatever you want to call it. They say I've just been seeing the shield a lot because NFL and ESPN just did this deal, and there's a lot of talk about, are they going to protect the shield, all that. But I don't think Rory's nearly as concerned with doing right by the PGA Tour as he was before the framework agreement, because he put himself out there for years and years and years, well, 2 years really, or a year and a half. And then they, when it was time to make the decision, he wasn't in the room. So I don't think Rory's is that concerned with, making the people at Ponte Vedra Beach happy. I think he wants to make Rory McIlroy happy. And I think it's hard to argue that. And it's also not this big trend, right? There's 69 of the top 70 are playing this week. Rory is literally the only one that is skipping. So, and Tiger had skipped FedEx Cup playoff events in the past. So, Rory's a polarizing figure. Aussie Golfer says, I think Rory is losing fans. The internet's not a real place. Go out to a tournament and you'll see that Rory is still probably the most popular player out there, or at least in the top 3. But we had Rick Gaiman, who's back on the show, which is great. I thought that was fantastic. We had Rick for our first maybe 20 Monday shows. And then, there was a little bit of a conversation going on in the background about, what the partnership was going to look like going forward. And we finally came to an agreement. So Rick is back on the show, and he gave us picks for this week. He picked Scottie Scheffler to win, Matt Fitzpatrick top 10, Emiliano Grillo top 30. So if you want to trail the dog, kind of the dog bets, that's what you would take. But, Rick had an idea about how you could maybe fix this sort of problem of Rory skipping. And let's play Rick's idea. A new format with the playoffs this year where it all basically wipes clean after the BMW. You think they should actually go a step further? Walk us through your proposal.
The caveat to this is without blowing up the FedEx Cup playoffs, right? Because I think everyone wants to blow it up and start from scratch and do match play. I just think that is a bridge too far. There's too many stakeholders to make happy to completely blow this thing up. So under the current system, they got rid of basically the starting strokes or FedEx Cup points mattering at the Tour Championship. Just get rid of them for the entire playoffs. And what that would do is so 69 players in Memphis this week, top 50 on the leaderboard move on. And then next week, the top 30 move on. And then the Tour Championship is played straight up. Here's the thing. You will not have Rory McIlroy skipping events because you cannot skip an event and continue your season. Imagine the drama for a 5-for-1 playoff to get into the next round of the championships. And then I think golf needs to start thinking like other sports. In no other sport, the stars have to be in the finals. Like the stars have to be there on Sunday for television. That's like rigging the system. Okay, yeah. Indiana and Oklahoma City, like it's the finals. Yeah. That's what it is.
Gotta have the Lakers in the NBA finals or the NBA is dead. I actually think we took a big step toward this actually happening, because I never thought that the players or the tour would agree to what they did with the Tour Championship, where they made it like an actual finals where it's like whatever happens this week determines whoever wins the thing for the whole season. But I think that was a big step. I think it actually could happen.
I think Rick's got the best idea I've ever heard.
So I never thought that the PGA Tour or the players would agree to what they agreed to with the Tour Championship. A proper finals, right, where everything wipes clean, and it doesn't matter if you've been the best player the whole season. If you don't perform at Eastlake, you're not going to win the FedEx Cup. It's very similar to the NFL playoffs, or the Chiefs might be the best team all year, or Alex Bush not going to like me. The Buffalo Bills might be the best team all year, but if they have a bad day when it matters the most, that's sports. They did agree to it, and I was very surprised, and I think it actually is a step toward what Rick is talking about. And I'd be very interested, Brian Rolap, who's the new PGA Tour CEO Mark Kelly says, "Hey, Dan's live and not during lunch or random hour." Yeah, we're trying to midday stream here. Alex had an idea, like instead of doing it at night, why don't we do it during the day? So I'm doing it during the day. Chris Orr says, "Sweet cameo and stick. Show is slept on. I appreciate it. Dog to the moon. I completely agree." I never thought they would agree to it, and they have. And I think it is a little step. And I'd be very curious what Brian Rolap, who's coming in from the NFL playoffs, where the regular season is its own thing, and then the playoffs is a whole new thing. And I would not be surprised if we move that way, where it's top 70, and then you got to finish in the top 50 of the leaderboard in Memphis, or hopefully not in Memphis, hopefully in another city. I've been talking about Memphis in August is just really hard for me to wrap my head around. And then, top 30 after that, and then it's a true proper playoffs. People are saying, oh, well, Scottie Scheffler, right, has been the best player all year. Well, he just got paid $10 million. There'd be a regular season title where we know that Scottie Scheffler in the history books won the regular season title, and then there would be a playoff title. And if Scottie has a bad week, Scottie is not going to finish outside the top 50 this week. I'd be beyond shocked, right? But if that were to happen, that would be a huge story in and of itself, right? The best player, who's been the best player all year has one bad week and he's out, and, he could say, oh, that's not fair. That's sports. I mean, the Patriots went 18-0 and they lost to what did the Giants team go? 10-6? Like, that's kind of how it goes. So I think Rick has a tremendous idea, and it's an idea that up until a couple months ago when they announced this new Tour Championship format, I just would have been like, that's never going to happen. The players are never going to agree to it, but they've sort of already opened that door with what they've done with the Tour Championship. So I could absolutely see it happening. You move more of the money to the regular season title, right? So maybe instead of Scottie winning, what was it, 10 million, you do 15 million for the regular season, and you do 8 million, whatever it is. The money is not really the concern. But I think this idea of having a full season champion, right? So like the Supporters Shield in the MLS, and then you have a champion at the end of the year. It makes the playoffs a way bigger thing. And I'm really excited for Eastlake this year. I think Eastlake's going to be awesome. I think it finally has an identity. It sounds like, from what I'm hearing, they're going to set it up super freaking hard, which is going to be awesome. Like I think an even pars, might win the tournament. And you got a true golf tournament for $10 million or whatever it is. So I think it is the best proposal that I've heard so far for the playoffs, is just make them an actual playoffs. ATP says the problem with match play is the flukiness and too many rounds played in the field down to a final two. Yeah, the proposal that he's making is not match play. It's a stroke play tournament, but you have to earn your way through the playoffs. And, a guy like, let's say Matty Schmid, okay? So Matty Schmid, and this wasn't really talked about that much because, more of the focus was on Davis Thompson, who three-putted the 72nd hole at Wyndham Championship to miss the playoffs. Matty Schmid birdied 4 of his last 6 and made a 25-footer for birdie on 18 to make the playoffs. Let's say Matty Schmid gets hot, right? And he finishes 5th this week, and he advances to the next round. And then he finishes 10th next week, and he advances to the next round, and then he wins a tournament. That's another, kind of great storyline for our sport. So I think we are creeping toward a more proper playoffs. It'll be very interesting what Brian Rolap, who's coming in from the NFL, does. Hopefully we get out of Memphis. And again, this is no disrespect to Memphis. I'd love to go to Memphis in February. I'd love to go to Memphis in November. But Memphis in August is going to be a no for me. Okay. That kind of wraps up the news items. We went through Looper Island. We went through Rick's idea for the FedEx Cup playoffs. We talked a little bit about Rory McIlroy. So let's have a little bit of fun now, and let's watch Will Zalatoris for Sepp Straka. Will Zalatoris for Sepp Straka 2022 FedEx Cup playoffs. Here we go.
Now for birdie is Zalatoris.
Wait, what did I do?
8.5 feet left to right.
I screwed this up. There we go. Okay, we're locked in now. All right, let's watch. We're going to start on the 14th hole. We've got Will Zalatoris putting for birdie. As you can see, Zalatoris at 14 under, Straka at 14 under. Let's lock in and enjoy.
The whole way.
Beautiful stroke.
Oh, man, he was walking it in like
Tried to walk
Johnny
that one in, huh?
Yeah, if you watch this putter head, it's just as straight back and straight through as you'd ever want it. How that didn't fall to the right, I'll never know.
Paul Isinger on the call. Just absolutely adoring Will Zalatoris' putting stroke. But you're going to see here, I don't think it's nearly as good as he thought it was back then.
He told Josh Gregory when he kind of figured out what he was doing with his putting, what we described, he said, I now know that I'm one of the best putters in the world. Now, some of the stats will go against that from some of the ranges he talked about, Zing, but most importantly in his mind, he is confident not only in the ball striking, which he's always had.
Watch his stroke here, how smooth and how just straight back, straight through. None of those little weird wiggles and bobbles here.
Was it really that straight back, straight through?
Self-belief is everything. And if he believes he's one of the best putters in the world, that's really all that matters.
Here's a guy that can prevent him from getting there. Straka at 13.
Greens are rolling pure. I'll say that much.
Bid for 3 birdies in the last 4 holes. He'll stay at 14 under.
Speaking of Zalatoris, how about this? The last person to win on the PGA Tour with Z beginning your last name go all the way back to Richard Zokol in 1992. And he
Richard
won the Greater
Zokol, who could
Milwaukee
forget?
Open. So
How about
it's been a
this
while
edit by Alex
since
Bush, by the
Z
way? We're flying
has
here.
tasted victory on tour.
Chris Orr says, was this when Decade Golf and Scott Fawcett went crazy? Yes, it is. I forgot about that, Chris Orr. This is when Scott Fawcett tweeted like, Jim Nantz is an asshole. Or he went crazy about Jim Nantz, and then Zalatoris had to issue like a statement being like, that's not me.
This is the driving iron. Likes to play a high draw with this club.
Oh,
this
Willy.
is headed right. This is
I
not
blocked
going to
it,
catch
Willy.
the fairway.
This is going to be 7 out of 8 fairways missed for Will Zalatoris. That will not get it done.
No, that sits down too. That is not a good place to be.
You got to hit it a little left of the hole and leave it a little short of the hole, I think, is the safest play.
This is before Sepp became Sepp, you know?
Oh, boy, this is right.
Aggressive
at the
line.
flagstick.
Another aggressive line, Raj. And Straka has lined himself up.
Big Sepp, no sweat.
Today he's showing himself a lot.
Must have been cooler than Memphis and Reed.
After missing 6 straight
Look at
cuts
that.
coming
That's
in
the
here.
Bermuda we're gonna
Go
see
to
this
another
weekend.
guy named
Sinks
Will
right to
trying
the
to
bottom.
battle for his first PGA Tour win at 15.
Yeah, downhill lie, thick Bermuda rough. Just nasty over there, and he slaps it out of there, and that is going to leave a very difficult up and in for his par.
Now, being a little more upright might help him, but he's got to generate so much club head speed. He just.
I mean, you can see there, his swing is so different. There's so much stress on his back.
13.5 footer going to his right. Been very resilient. There were a couple of times today I thought he was going away, but he bounces back.
Yeah, Raj, he had bogey at 3, bounced back with a birdie at 4, same thing at 5, bounced back birdie at 6, and then 2 early birdies here in his second 9.
That putter from with Sepp looks like it's from 1993.
See if he's picking the right club and playing the right shot here. It's just so hard to lag this up there. It's got great speed on it.
This looks great.
Is that any good?
I love when Zinger goes, oh, it's got great speed on it. Is that any good?
Yeah, that's impressive, Steve. You know, that is really as good as any lag putt, but to be able to clip that off of that sticky grass, land it right where he wanted and get the right speed. He's just tied for the lead. We've seen guys bail so far away from the.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys see that stroke? And we're talking about how good the stroke is? Guys, I think we underestimate. We don't remember how tough this was to watch.
Right speed.
Look at this thing. He hit it right off the top.
Just tied for the lead. We've seen guys bail so far
What the
away
hell
from
is
the water
that?
today.
He's trying to join Camilo Villegas as the only player to make his first ever
The announcer's
PGA Tour
just
victory,
ignoring that.
a FedEx Cup playoff victory, and that was all the way back in 2008. So Zalatoris makes his 4 at 15, and now we're back on the tee with Sepp Straka.
Lesson driver here, and of course, just the position hole. You want the ball.
I like
in
that
the
little
fairway
club face
here.
wipe. That's almost like Brooks with the putter.
You'll have a
Sick.
short
Didn't
iron on the
notice that.
left, and you want to be able to attack if you can.
Wow, is he confident, Raj?
Man, that was smoked.
Yep.
Right, left center.
Fairways.
Little draw, perfect.
Yep. Accuracy off the tee has been a weakness this season, but not this week.
Will Zalatoris, his tee shot here at 16.
He just can't hit a fairway.
Taken out to the
I
right.
didn't realize he sprayed it this much.
Dear. Oh, it kicked out. Kicked all the way out into the fairway. Hit off the trees there,
I take it back. He can find a fairway. Just needs a tree to help.
too.
Over at 15, Roger, Sepp is in position A.
Yeah, 112 here, a little wedge. Wind feels like it's coming right to left, and this is going to be a little left of the hole.
Sepp is hitting it way better than Willy, by the way, right now.
Justin, I wouldn't be opposed to leaving something just short of this green. If you get it pin high, you bring in both of those bunkers, but just short is an easy chip or putt. But knowing Willie Z, the way he's hitting it, He's probably trying to make everything right now. This is 6-iron.
Yeah, the two bunkers are not easy to get the ball up and down from, so I like your idea there, Woody.
Starting left, cutting right at the hole.
Right over the flag. I mean, Willy with the irons was a problem in this era. An absolute problem. I mean, I wonder if we'll ever see it again, honestly. I really do.
Goal. After that great break off the tee. Only a 5th fairway he's hit so far today.
Now here's a big, big spot, Roger, for Sepp Straka to grab the lead all to himself.
Yeah, big putt here. Put that par 5 up ahead. Maybe make a statement here.
Guntown.
Wait a minute.
Jeez.
That one races
Hit that
by.
twice
We
as
just
hard as
saw
he needed
Trey
to.
Mullinax missed the comebacker. Now here at 15, Straka, Roger, to remain a co-leader.
A little bit of a white knuckler here.
Little bit of a white knuckler here. You know, my dad always used to have a theory that pros make like par putts of the same distance as birdie putts more often. And I looked into the stats. It's actually not true. It's because they make their second putt on the green far more often than their first putt because they've seen it break around the hole. So that's a good example right there of Sepp, you know, seeing how it moves around the hole. He pours in that 8-footer with no problem. Willy Z well short left here. Let's put the audio back on.
Should be a tap-in birdie. Good pace there. He's a great lag putter. While we wait, we'll go back to the tee, and Sepp Straka now wants to put this in the center to right center of the fairway.
Beauty, buddy.
Beautiful, tight little draw. It's crazy how much better he's hitting it than Will, especially off the tee.
This guy gets a sniff of the lead. He doesn't back off.
Nice drive there. And now Zalatoris to take the
Here we go.
outright lead.
Brace yourself.
Boy, a great break off the tee.
Is this what
Getting
I
that ball
think?
to ricochet.
I think this is what Scott Fawcett was so angry about, was like the comments about his putting stroke and being like, he's actually a great putter. It's like, well, I'm looking at what I'm seeing with my eyes and I'm not enjoying it.
On the short grass, or you can get hooked by the rough and the trees.
It's part of it every day.
Dead center, up the left center. Absolutely gorgeous tee shot.
Beautiful, tight draw. Just knuckled it down there. Look at it go. Stop. Oh,
Nope,
no.
not a fairway. So dead center,
great
maybe not the
lie
right call there, but
considering
I love, Paul Isinger had really good, I don't even know, like guttural sounds. He would move his tenor up and down a lot. I really miss it.
Playing with J.J. Spawn, who already missed the green with his second shot. Comes up a little bit short. That's in a great spot there.
Caddie 16, Straka comes up short.
Wow, way short. Ball bounced.
So just remember this for this weekend. 16, the par 5, very reachable. It's going to be a pivotal hole this weekend.
And that was really slow.
This for birdie and tie for the lead. He's got it. So all time.
Mark Kelly says, we need a Mount Rushmore of top calls. Mashed potatoes always gets me. For me, it's light the candle. I don't really know what it means. Sounds like kind of vaguely sexual. You like mashed potatoes? Interesting.
Down slow. As usual, right at the flagstick if it's the right number.
Has that big steep angle of attack, drops it onto the front portion, and lets it just run out.
Somebody actually tell you guys something kind of personal about my game. I got a golf lesson yesterday where the guy said, you know, he saw me hit one driver, Brady Riggs, great teacher, and he said, have you ever had lower right back problems? And I said, yes. And he said, I think if you continue to swing it like this, you're going to continue to have lower back problems. And, you know, I looked at a face-on angle, and basically, in my first move, the best players in the world tend to go up and back and then down and through. What I do is my first move is kind of this way, and then I kind of go back and shove my hands forward at impact. And it's not all that dissimilar to what Zalatoris would do. And it put all of this stress on his lower right back. And I also really struggle to hit driver and sort of the top of the bag straight, but my strength is with the irons. And I think it's because I'm staying, so it's almost like a stack and tilt. Like I'm staying on my left side and then kind of backing up. So I'm really good at hitting down on it. I'm very bad at hitting up on it. And it does kind of remind me of what we're seeing from Will. He's spraying it off the tee, but the irons are just flagged, absolutely flagged. And it's it's fun when you hit your irons that good, but it's hard to sustain that level. And so I'm trying now to have a move where I'm trying to consciously move this way off the ball and then forward, as opposed to moving forward this way and then back. So it's funny. I've playing really, really good. Shot my best round in a couple years on Friday. Went to get a lesson, and I'm basically told, you know, you need to change stuff. Golf is a sick game.
But in his eyes, a necessary move at the halfway point at the Wyndham Championship last week. He decided to change caddies, go from his good friend Ryan Goebel to Joel.
Blind ranking of crowd calls from Chris Orr. Not a bad idea. Maybe Ben Boscovich is watching. He does the blind ranking topics and chooses the selections, but I like where your head's at.
More full swings for Will Zalatoris.
All right, we're on 18.
To win his first ever tournament on tour, and he's got water on both of these full swings to deal with.
And who knows, Zing, with Straka having his issues, par might be good enough to win it.
No discussion whatsoever between him and Joel. Driver immediately. Very high, trying to carry the corner of the water.
Yeah, he's spraying it. Reverse C.
Up into the bunker. Can't tell.
Well, it can bury in the fairway bunkers. We've seen that. And that is the second bunker he's in. So he's much farther up. And maybe he can get lucky. But he took the water out of play first and foremost.
Get Woody on that in a moment. Straka's ready to go back at 17.
He's got to hit a banana.
Trying to turn it over a little bit from the rough. And it's running up.
Is that any good? What a shot.
That's exactly what I'm talking about with Azinger. Is that any good? Is that any good? Feeling the pressure.
He's right. Big chance here.
Could end up getting in the tournament.
We'll get there.
Oh, man, how close can you be?
That is as close to not going in as a putt can get. Spraying it more than Phil Swift in a Flex Seal commercial, says Ricky Strasser. I love it. I love it.
156. Trying to take something about 20 feet right of this hole would be ideal.
I picked it. Picked it nicely.
But this is right as well. Way to the right.
Not quite as far.
Didn't pick it as well as I thought.
That settles down.
Just disregard everything I just said. That was a miss hit.
Look at it. It's.
Oh my goodness, he's in an awful spot. Almost
Willy's spraying it more than a 9-year-old with a brand new Super Soaker.
that unpredictable 419 Bermuda.
And he has blocked it right.
We see it every single week, don't we? Guys who are just absolutely flushing it for 70 holes, and then the winning hour gets there, and they start to hit shots that they haven't hit all weekend. You know, Dr. Izzy Justice talks about this. Maybe a little bit of brain waves going on. We need to get down to 10 hertz.
Sitting all the way down, but it's not sitting where you can predict what it's going to do. It's just get this on the green. You know it's not going to spin. Let it roll out from there. Plenty of green to work with.
Yeah, this is a hard one to get close. That's a pretty good shot. But
Pretty damn good there.
It could come down to a putt like this for Zalatoris. We've been talking about how he's gotten more confidence.
And this is exactly what sent Scott Fawcett on a proper tizzy.
yeah, it's just brutal down in there, and it's, you know, it's the predictability. You can always get it out of there, but how far will it go? He did a great job of that. You see him a little shrug there. That's
He's like,
not
yeah, I'll
bad.
take
He
it.
knows it. He's got a putt that could win him this championship. He had a putt maybe a little bit longer than this, actually, to tie at the U.S. Open.
He almost made that.
Yes, he did. He barely missed. I think most of the
That putt at the U.S. Open, guys, if you find that was at Brookline, and that's, you know, when Matt and I, Fitzy and I were super, super close. I'm not proud of it, but if you find a reverse angle of that, you can see when Will misses the putt, you can see me and my wife just going crazy. Yeah, let's see if you can see it here.
13 feet 11 inches to be exact.
Because Matt
Get into
won.
a playoff.
Behind the green.
Just barely missed it. And
Behind the
again,
green is my wife and I just going nuts.
Inches that it takes to win one of these. This one out of the way. And
Yeah.
this one is buried.
yeah.
Is that, what are they going to
How
say
about
now?
that?
Was that, what are they going to say now? Let's rewind, because remember he said that?
Of inches that it takes to win one of these. This one out of the way, and this one is buried.
Yeah.
What are they going to say now? I think that was inspired by Steph Curry. back in the day. What are they going to say now? Well, you still have a playoff, my friend.
Is that one going to be good enough to get Zalatoris a PGA Tour win?
That is all heart. He knows what everyone says about the way he putts. He gets on the 72nd hole.
Straka.
He got a live
for the
run.
rough.
Yes, sorry.
This ball's half submerged. It's going to be hard to.
Before Sepp had Big Dewey on the bag.
Oh, and did he guess pretty well?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. He will have a putt to win it.
What a clutch shot from this guy who's just missed 6 straight cuts. He comes in here and acts like he's Tiger Woods all of a sudden.
Sepp Straka missed 6 straight putts. Cuts and putts maybe, but also cuts.
Country Club, but here at TPC Southwind, you know, he heard some of the critics, and that putting stroke.
What are they going to say now? I love it. I love it. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why Will is so popular is like he did stuff like that. You know, can you imagine a guy making a putt this weekend and saying, what are they going to say now? Basically, just like sticking it to the internet trolls.
He's always been one of the best ball strikers in the world. Is it going to be good enough to get him in the winner's circle? Zalatoris in scoring after that clutch par putt to post 15 under.
I'm nervous right now. We always talk about on the watch along how I get nervous. I don't know why. This tournament happened 3 years ago. I'm nervous.
I think
I also know what happens.
start to move a little left initially. As it's dying and gets down in the area of the cup, it's got to go back to the right toward the water.
Yeah, it will. Actually, Zalatoris is about the only guy that hasn't missed his putt on the high side that I've seen. The grass is shiny, so this is going to be a nice, smooth, kind of slightly downhill, slightly with the grain. And Sepp Straka, I would say, statistically, if you look at all his numbers, his putting is definitely his strength.
And this to come home at 4 under 31.
It's funny because now he's a ball striker. That's what he's known for. This is for 31 to win the tournament. Was a good run, wasn't it? Pretty perfect speed to win the tournament.
Tried to go right, Rods, at the end. He just had a little too much on the left and a little too much speed to just have the break take it in.
Yeah, 2 beautiful putts for Straka on the last 2 holes. Neither one goes in, and he's not the Lone Ranger. That thing just slides by the left-hand side.
And Straka from short range to force a playoff with Zalatoris.
Look at the difference in fluidity between this tap in and between Willy's. I'm sorry, Scott.
67 for Sepp.
On a back 9.
Sepp's hair was in a much better spot. I think has he gone full chrome dome now? Has he gone home? I'm not sure, but he definitely doesn't have that much hair now.
Yep. And then a clutch shot at 17. I mean, Zalatoris was doing the same thing too.
All right, we're headed to a playoff. There's JJ Spawn before the U.S. Open glory. How about that? That is some emo. Wait, we got to go back. That's a full. That kid's haircut is. Don't waste your time on me. The voice inside my head.
Attorney's got the big stick.
He didn't even think twice. So we can strategize all we want. He's going to take his favorite club out and give it a rip.
Yeah. You know, Zinger, I think this takes out more water than any other club in his bag. I mean, he saw where it.
I mean, this is when decades like started to really pop off, and driver everywhere. Not everywhere, but it's one of the things with send it. That's kind of Scott Fawcett's mantra, and he worked with Will Zalatoris. They won the Texas Am, I think, together. And for all of the whatever about Scott, he really has changed golf strategy.
But he doesn't want to flirt with it.
This is at that same bunker he found in the regulation.
And it's in between, and it's on the first cut.
And now Willy's thinking, I'm going to hit this on the stick. absolutely on the stick. That man getting the ball into some grass where he can get to the back of the wall, and that's what he's laughing at. He's like, I finally did it on this hole.
That is.
Could Joel Stock go 1 for 1 here on the bag? We'll see. Now Straka.
Joel Stock about to win his first event on the bag. We talked about this. Looper Island. These guys can win with anybody.
He's trying it again. Oh, that's much better. This a little up to left.
Look out
Is
left.
that too far left? No, it's not.
Oh, wow.
Man, is he cutting it close. That approach into the last and then that tee shot right there, those were two really fortunate bounces.
Yep, I think that's perfect. I just don't think there's enough wind. I mean, I almost don't even think it's a smasher.
No, I don't think it is either.
I don't think there's that much proof.
Yeah.
It's still a pretty good one, but just commit to that.
A smasher. That's a new one. He said, I don't think it's a smasher.
Talk about going right at the 18, which is about 15 feet right of the flagstick. Trying to get him to commit fully to the shot. And this is wedge. Starting right, not turning over, right edge of the green.
It's also amazing you watch these. This is only 3 years ago. How many fewer tracers they have, right? There was so much more on the on-course analyst, John Wood in this case, to like tell you where the ball is going. Whereas right now they would have just moved that machine over, like they have the portable top tracer thing, and you just would have known right away. I think we're gonna get one here.
Knocked down the flight of it. It is right of the hole, but just about what you called there, Zinger, about halfway between the two.
It's a very Scott Fawcett shot right there. You know, you got to aim away from the water. Penalty strokes for the enemy.
Represented Austria in the Tokyo Olympics a year ago in the men's golf competition. His twin brother Sam, who flew in.
Chris Orr says, I remember watching this because I had a 25-1 ticket on Will Z. So there we go. We keep up our streak alive of someone in the stream having an unbelievable betting interest. You could see maybe, you could go to your sports book and say, I know this was 3 years ago, but I just watched it again and I forgot who won. So can I get like 5-1 as a payout?
Yeah, just downhill the whole way. Overall, I think it's fairly straight. I think it's got a little left early, and about the last 15 feet, it looks like it wants to drift back to the right a hair. He's just got to really just dial. He's been great with speed all day, and that's just the key here. Don't leave yourself a second putt here.
Well, that's the goal. He's made some significant changes this season in his putting. It all started in May after the PGA Championship. He spent a couple of days with his coach.
Remember, he lost in a playoff in that PGA Championship to Justin Thomas.
He practiced, and finally they just did a reboot. He changed his setup. He was shrugging his left shoulder up, so he's got his shoulders level. He put his weight left. But then a few weeks after he found that setup and was putting way better, he called his coach one more time and said, I think I've got one more thing to add. There's a spot on his grip where he likes to put his right hand. It's right around the E on super stroke. And if he gets above it, then he doesn't have as much control, Dan. But if he gets right on it, he found that he controls the putter way more. So that's his.
So Willy was arm locking back then. Now I think he has the long putter now, but he's one of the guys who actually has respect for the rule and actually has a little bit of daylight between his left hand and his chest.
And it's just made the biggest difference in the world for Zalatoris.
His approach putting, that was one of the things that was always kind of like underrated, was like, yeah, short putts can be difficult to watch, but his speed control is pretty excellent.
Sepp Straka has been magnificent on the greens this week. He only trails Adam Scott in strokes gained putting.
Zalatoris going to finish out here.
Yeah, that grip change gave him all kinds.
I just can't look past the tap, like how gross the tap-ins are. And someone in the chat says, Chris Orr, had he been using the broomstick for a long time prior to this run? He was an arm lock guy for a while. And then I think the broomstick was after the injury. Because I remember, I think it was Riviera when he had a good run a couple years ago, and he was talking about switching to the broomstick.
In the dirty hole, in the water!
For the win!
And that is coasted by
fast past the hole.
That's when you're thinking, I'm going to win this tournament, and then as soon as it rolls past the hole, you're like, I might lose this tournament.
Zalatoris might get a gift. Maybe.
Wouldn't bank on it. But, boy, what a disaster, Roger, for him to roll it that far by.
That wasn't in the game plan. He wasn't going to have to work very hard to get that to the hole. And well, what do you think? An adrenaline rush?
Probably.
You can see Will there trying not to smile.
The hole, Roger, as you know, get past the hole, the next one coming back is almost always pretty straight, or certainly inside the hole. So I don't know what you see here. He hasn't three-putted all week long.
Oh, it's
No three putts all week. Be cruel if it was on the first playoff hole.
solid strike at it. Or they can skid her offline at times.
Okay, another
Right in the heart. That's what we're talking about. When these guys see the ball roll past the hole and they see how it reacts to the hole, they're so much better on those second putts.
I'm going to be giving this, but Straka from 6 feet, absolutely. So we'll go back.
Second
to this
playoff
18th
hole.
hole.
This is high. This is headed right in between the last two bunkers, cutting towards the middle bunker.
Needs a soft bounce.
Oh, man, it hit the cart path.
That is adrenaline city.
And it came down. It might have hit the tree.
Adrenaline City. Oh, I'm missing her. Adrenaline City. That is the Ciudad de Adrenaline.
Out of bounds, had a tree not caught it, I think.
Yeah. Wow. Now Straka.
So lucky. When you hit it offline like that, dog leg left, you hit the cart path right, you were thinking Opie. That's the first thing you're thinking.
So he's probably going to go with the same club.
Man, this is turning up that left as well.
That looks like a carbon copy, Raj.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, just
These guys just keep hitting the same damn shot. Will keeps hitting that slight block with the driver at those bunkers, and Sepp just wants to get closer and closer to the water.
Now he's going to be able to play that next shot. Oh, he's taking his shoes off.
Shoes off. What a playoff. Shoes off and right next to a fence.
Take a look at the stance that Straka has.
He didn't take a good look, but he glanced over it. I think he has an idea of what he has. Zalatoris' ball now is close to that green fencing. He can't do anything to that fencing.
Now he's hearing the cheers because Straka's undressing over there. At least one shoe is off. Pant leg is up.
How about that golfer's tan from Sepp? Looks like he's wearing socks.
Cut and just start it over the water. If not, he can just chip it out and try and make 4 from there. But if he tries to hit the green, he's got to start this well over the water.
Mark Kelly says not 10 hertz is exactly right. Neither of these men are at 10 hertz.
A long way that club he's got in his hand.
Again, I'm legitimately nervous again. Golfers are a very sick breed.
I mean, right. I'm just making sure if these people went all the way there, there's nothing there.
His caddy Joel wants him to get all those people out of there to take a look over right.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, because that little tree right there is in the way.
Okay.
Caddie's probably been looking forward to taking off that hat all day. As soon as he got in the shade, he said, this thing's coming off because I am sweating with it. I'm schwitzing, to use a Yiddish word.
Straka is going to do.
By the way, Straka just put a shoe back on.
Yeah. If he was in the middle of the fairway,
yeah, I agree.
I think differently, but I think.
Oh, Sepp didn't want to end up on Wiki Feet? Is that what that was?
Zalatoris ended pitching out here. Haddle's less lofted club went to more, looked like a wedge, and looks like they're going to chip out and have a wedge in.
Wesley Teague says, each round of the playoffs should be in different areas of the country on different grass and different layouts. Florida, California, New York. I agree. California, New York, it's perfect in August. What are we doing? What are we doing in Memphis, man? In August. Again, nothing against Memphis, but Memphis in August. And even Baltimore in August. I mean, what are we doing?
I'm confused. So basically, you kind of hit this thing on 75 yards.
I think 60 is going to carry you on the top, and that way it's going to be okay,
So
buddy.
looking for a 60-yard shot.
Spot real quiet, please.
And one of the reasons why Zalatoris likes Joel Straka in the bag, he's a good player, he says. He played his golf at Oregon. And
Good player in his own right. Check that off the bingo board. We should do a blind ranking of announcer cliches. Good player in his own right would be up there.
Way back inside, and to hit a cut from there would have been impossible.
Well, he lives to play another shot. If he takes a chance there and doesn't pull it off, the tournament's over. So
Raj, Sepp has his shoe back on. What are his options here?
Well, he would either go in the water to hit it with his shoes on, but now he's going to take penalty.
Interesting. So he sees Zalatoris pitch out, and he's thinking, if I take this drop, we're basically even.
Tip it down the fairway and get closer. I mean, he didn't have to take on the green with the shot. I would have thought he could have hit something and advanced the ball, 30 yards or something without an issue. But he's elected to keep the point where the ball blasts across the margin of the penalty area between himself and the hole, and now he will be playing 3.
Poor Gary Young having to wear that long sleeve button-down shirt in this Memphis heat.
He didn't have, he had an initial intention to put his left foot down into the pond.
You look at the angle here. He's got a lot of room out there to the right.
He could have pitched it right over there.
Seems like it, and be lying 2 way up there rather than hitting 3 here.
Well, the bottom line is now the guys are still even up, both hitting their 3rd shots.
I'm with you.
Who can be the best iron player to win this thing?
No, I'm on that with you. You got it. Come on.
And he's got 152 now, fellas. Obviously not a great angle with that hole cut on the left.
Still, nobody's hit it really within 10 feet here from this far back.
Club twirl.
Club seems to like it. What a third!
Dart from Sepp. That's why you take the drop.
The twirl told the story.
Put the shoe back on, took the drop, and delivered. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the twirl tells the story. Look at this.
Saucy twirl. It's some guys twirl all the time, like Jordan Spieth. He's kind of bastardized the twirl a little bit, where sometimes he'll pull and he'll twirl, and then it goes into the the grandstand. Sepp is he's selective with the twirl.
And he'll be outside Straka for par.
So I don't remember. Do they both make those, or do they both miss those? You guys remember?
Oh, man.
Well, Zalatoris is going to end up showing Sepp Straka the line. He wants to show him the perfect line. But, wow, how hard is it to win out here on this tour?
How hard is it to win on this tour? This is 2022 in the summer. This is a month or 2 after Liv's first event. Cam Smith played in this event. It was right before he left.
Gonna make another big one for Paul. He knows what it does, and he executes.
He is so much better on the 12-footers than the 2-footers.
Perfect speed. Absolutely perfect speed.
It's a gutsy par.
And that's the key. Will Zalatoris has figured out what works under pressure on the greens.
Look at that stripe on the golf ball. Perfectly end over end. I mean, this was a no doubt.
That would have rolled in a thimble.
And now that has put the pressure back on Straka. Raj,
it's getting tense. It's getting tense, fellas. Drop us a like for how tense it is. How much we're enjoying this Wednesday bonus.
And the finality of it all either goes or you go.
It looks like a croquet putter.
He's just been so cool with these most of the day.
He's got the square shoes on too. The squares.
There he is again.
Gutsy stuff from the boys. We're going to the 3rd playoff hole. I think we go to the par 3 now, don't we?
Torres has that look like been here before.
The 18th, 3 consecutive times in regulation and then 2 sudden death holes. And now we head to the par 3 11th.
It's bleeding. Oh, Will.
That is on an aggressive line. That just hops along and wedges in between the grass and that stone wall.
He tries to play this. He thinks about playing this. But you see him do that, and then you're saying, Sepp, dry land, my friend. Dry land, and you win the tournament. Look at this bounce.
The water.
Well, he's lucky it's not in the water.
That's true. I mean, that's going to be a tough one.
You can tell by the look on his face. He knows he's in trouble.
Straka now ready to pounce.
Yep, this guy.
He's grabbed one more club. He's got 9.
Dry land and you win the tournament, Sepp.
Oh, this is right, too.
That's also short and into the water.
What are we doing with this wall here? There's all the turf to the left. And Will can't believe that he's bailed out like that, but now he's going to go look at that ball for just way too long.
Back to the drop circle as well. He's sitting in that little ditch area, and if he tries to go at it, I think it just hits up and hits there and goes backwards into the water.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Can't play it. Just,
a chip shot can go straight backwards.
Straka from the drop zone. Raj.
I'm going to try to dial this one in. Has knocked it down. It is deep and left, though.
Into the bunker in 3.
Sepp said, you know, Will, I think you deserve this one because, yeah, look, they're still looking at it. And Sepp's already in the bunker. Dude, just take the drop. Take this going. This is only going one place if you hit this and it's back in the water. Keep looking. See if you might find something more if you. Yeah, no, just get a little bit lower and you might be able to play it. No, you cannot play this.
Above it doesn't look like he can get it up there.
You know, every once in a while, a tour player will get a lie he's never seen before. This is one of those.
I'm honestly surprised that they're still talking. Like, it is the most clear. How could you get to the? What's your plan here? What's the plan here? Cool shoes with the St. Jude.
Or if that thing just is pounded into the bank.
I mean, this view right here is like the golfers, man. One of a kind to even think. The Isaac Newton and physics, inertia doesn't really apply to me when I'm trying to win a golf tournament.
Will's
The
got to win.
decision for Zalatoris, depending on what Straka does with his 4th shot.
He's still looking at it.
Sure, it's Straka.
Yeah, he's asking. According to ShotLink, Sepp Straka is farther from the hole.
So Raj Straka is going to play his 4th first.
Yeah, now has this shot with not much room to work.
Our man Noah Slan, can you walk us through where you think Keegan needs to finish the next 2 weeks to automatically qualify / pick himself? Well, those are two very different conversations because I don't think he's going to automatically qualify. He'd have to win, I would think. Maybe win another top 3. But I think if he's in the top 12, he's going to pick himself. I think something changed with Keegan after he won the Travelers. The way he's been talking about the Ryder Cup has changed. I think Keegan's planning on playing, and Will is still looking at this ball. I don't remember in real time, but were we all trying to shake him and be like, dude, take the drop, take the drop, take the drop. He's really thinking about playing this.
Well, you got to have the discussion about going back to the drop circle, and he's hit his wedges so good, up and down from the drop circle, and there you go.
Stroke itself. I got no extra 1 stroke. Just the stroke itself.
It almost feels like Gary Young is trying to tell him, like, you should probably just go to the drop zone, my friend. Because Sepp just hit it in the bunker. You hit a good wedge, you have a 1-shot advantage.
It's an up and down for 92 yards. He wins. There's nothing Straka can do. If he doesn't get up and down, then Straka still has to make a putt for double.
I mean, it's not even close. It's not a close decision if Sepp was in the middle of the green, especially with Sepp going long with his 3rd shot. He's got a putt for double. I can't believe he's still there.
It's too much of an unknown.
That was also classic golfer move. He's about to pick it up. He's made the decision, and he's like, I'm just going to wait 1 extra second. Okay, I'm going to pick it up.
Every member at the club is going to try that shot Will Zalatoris picked up tomorrow.
Sounded solid. And it was.
Just like the biggest no-brainer in the history of no-brainers. So he's got that for bogey. He's got a 1-shot advantage on Sepp.
Like it always seems to sound off at the club with Zalatoris.
He hit it right. Yep, he hit it right where he aimed it.
Just hit it on the button.
Yep.
And Straka still isn't in for 5. But it's big time advantage here for Zalatoris. Can he make one more putt? One more
I remember Sepp hitting it in the water with his shot after Will had already hit it in the water. I do not remember him then dumping his third into the bunker.
And he's got it. Finally, Zalatoris is a PGA Tour winner.
Right decision. It reminds me a little bit of Cameron Young, and these guys were teammates at Wake Forest, but this whole finally thing, guys who've shown up in majors, like Will had done time and time again. Cameron Young, a lot of top tens in majors. A guy who was a sort of a darling of the betting community because of how good he is statistically, how good the ball striking is. You could see what it means to him to win his first, and I believe still his only. Right? Isn't Will Zalatoris have one win? I'm going to embarrass myself here if he's got more than one, but I only remember, yep, he's got one win. And, this is another reminder of golf is non-linear. And if I would have told you that fast forward 3 years and Will Zalatoris is where Will Zalatoris is in the game, you would never think that he hasn't accomplished more and hasn't built on all of this. So these guys, you got to savor these wins when you have them. I'm sure we do this over under majors, like with Scotty over under 9.5 majors, over under 9 majors, like Rory. It's like you would probably say over under tour wins Will Zalatoris. In this moment, you'd say, oh, he's going to win at least 5 times. You just never know. You just never know in this sport. Guys, that was super fun. I really enjoyed that. A Wednesday stream. We talked about the caddy. If you are just joining us live, you can scroll back to the beginning for sort of a news update. We talked about the caddy carousel. Looper Island keeps on spinning. Colin Morikawa, Tony Finau, Jake Knapp, all with new loopers. We talked a little bit about Memphis and about the FedEx Cup playoffs and Rick's, I think, pretty smart proposal to change the playoffs. So an awesome stream, really fun. We'll try to do this more Wednesdays. I'm going to be traveling the next 2 Wednesdays, so unlikely we'll do it in the next couple Wednesdays. And ATP says, I think Keegan has made the decision to pick himself regardless of what happens. I would agree. It seems like he's on that motion. All right, guys, fantastic stuff. Thank you all very, very much. We'll see you on Sunday for the watch along. I'm actually going to go up to San Francisco for the day on Saturday. USAM's at Olympic Club. I'm going to go out there for a practice round, see a bunch of the guys, maybe film a couple videos, and then we'll be back as normal for the watch along on Sunday, the Memphis FedEx St. Jude Championship watch along, and then obviously the Dan on Golf back in the studio on Monday. But I'm signing off from the doghouse. Thank you all very, very much. You guys are fantastic. Dog to the moon. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll see you soon.